Hello from Myrtle Beach. Today we're a little south of Myrtle Beach. We are in Myrtle's Inlet, a beautiful location. Very quick drive from Myrtle Beach. We are going to do some crabbing today. We're going to show you how to catch blue crab. Hopefully we'll have some good luck and get some blue crab. You never know, we might get a few other things. Today we are located at Veterans Pier, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this area. Hi, I'm Carmen. If you're new here, we cover everything Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area. If you're a return viewer, welcome back. We are so glad to have you with us. It is a beautiful day here in the area. We are here, like I said, on Veterans Pier. This is a public pier. It is located right off the Marsh Walk here in Myrtle's Inlet. If you're not familiar with the Marsh Walk, we do have a video on our channel. Anytime you want to find a video on our channel, just go to YouTube, search for Carmen and Brian Myrtle Beach, and then put in, for example, Myrtle's Inlet Marsh Walk, and it'll come right up. So we give you a full tour of all the restaurants and everything there, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that today. But today we are going to focus on catching some blue crab. Blue crab are the crab that are in she crab soup, which is a pretty famous soup from this area, from this low country region. Also, it makes some great crab dip. We use it for crab dip, and it's a very inexpensive and easy thing to do. So even if you're just coming here for vacation, it's definitely something that you can do and enjoy, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. We're going to talk about, what you need to do it. Well, I know we're going to get some questions on if you need a fishing license to do this or not. We're actually going to not answer that question because the information online is very confusing. But if you want to check out what the rules are, you can look at the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. They have some information. We will include a link in the description below this video with the information that we found, and then you can read it and decide for yourself what you want to do about that. There's a lot of details to it. That's why I'm not going to cover all of it in this video, because it depends on exactly what you want to do while you're out crabbing. Now, we have done some research, but it's really random. But 2 hours before high tide and 2 hours after high tide are supposed to be some of the best times. Here is what we use to catch the crab. They are metal nets. We have tried cloth. They don't work so well. The crab get caught up in them, but you could use those if that's all you can find. Like if you're here on vacation, Walmart is a good place to check. Can't guarantee they'll have it, but I would definitely check with Walmart. So you need this twine. You need a weight. So this weight, we've wired this weight in, and then Brian is currently wiring a chicken leg, and that is what we use for bait, and that's what everyone says is best, and we've found it to be true. We've tried fish, like dead fish, and that doesn't work as well as the chicken. So another good source of chicken is also Walmart. This is not sponsored by Walmart, but they do have cheap chicken. So does Costco, but of course it comes in a much bigger bag, and you need a membership for that. But any grocery store, you can usually find some cheap chicken drumsticks. Other thing you need equipment wise, you either need some really industrial gloves or something to pick the crab up with so you do not get pinched. They can draw blood, they can hurt a lot, and they can lock on and not let go. So despite them not being huge, don't let that fool you. And then you need ice in the ice chest, and an ice chest, and I guess a towel to wipe your hands on. That is about it for equipment. Can't beat this as a location just for the view alone. It is so beautiful here. So even if you're not gonna crab, not into that, you can just come down here and enjoy it. And at low tide, you can actually see some pretty cool stuff, like right here in the water. We're here when it's a little bit higher, but when it's really low tide, you can actually see some of the animals. We've even seen a stingray here in the water. And then like I said, we're right next to the Marsh Walk, where you got all these restaurants and bars, and then also you can enjoy some nice wildlife while you're out here. I put this one in the water right here, so it's just straight down in the water, and we just wait a few minutes and then pull it up. While we're waiting to pull up our first round of baskets, there's a lot of pulling up and letting down that does not involve crabs. I'll just warn you right now. It's like I said, it's just like fishing. There's no guarantees. But I wanted to give you a little trivia about this island over here, and you can see the fake goat on it. This used to be Goat Island. Drunken Jacks used to maintain having some goats on this island. Unfortunately, hurricane, I believe it was Ian, washed away a lot of that island, so there's no longer enough room for the goats to, not enough habitat for the goats to be there anymore. and they're off at a farm enjoying life, but we miss them here. It was pretty cool to see the goats here on the island. All right, we have caught a little fish. If you know what kind it is, leave it in the comments. Definitely not one I'm familiar with. Another advantage here is you can just watch the boats go by. This is also a place where a lot of tours come out of. You got people fishing. And so over there you see those houses and condos and everything. That's over there by Garden City, and you've got the beach on the other side. Beautiful great blue heron right across from us. It's fishing this morning also. Like I mentioned, there's tours and things that go out from here. Here's the Crazy Sister headed out from the Myrtle's Inlet Marshwalk area. And we got one. Yikes. He's hanging on barely by a thread. So this is where the these come in handy to get the crab. They will do this though. They will lock on and hang on for dear life, and then we'll measure him to make sure he's legal. They have to be 5 inches from point to point. We'll show you that too. We are going to measure this guy, see if he's legal. So you go from tip to tip. So he is almost 6 inches because you're going from this tip to this tip, and they need to be 5 inches to be legal. So he's very legal. We will be eating him later. What we do, a lot of people do different things. We put them in the cooler that I showed you. So we got these ice blocks. They will eventually become dormant. They will live for quite a while like this. They don't have to be in the water to live. And you want them to be alive. You do not want to cook a dead crab. And so eventually he'll settle down. He'll sort of go dormant from the ice. While we're talking about the cooler though, we have seen a lot of people that actually use a bucket of water. So there's different options to keep the crabs alive while you're fishing or crabbing. All right, we got another one. This one looks too small, but we'll check him out. Oh, that's definitely too small. Actually, that's just an eyeball. We're just gonna dump him back. Back you go. And buddy. Then they hold on. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to give it a like. That helps other people find our videos, and we greatly appreciate that. And we got an eel. You can eat these as far as I know, but it's a lot of work. You have to get the skin off and all kinds of stuff that we don't want to deal with. So bye-bye, eel. Boop. And we got another one. He looks like he's right on the line. We're gonna give him a measure. Nice. Gonna be eating good today. Eventually your chicken legs look like this, and that's when it's time to add another chicken leg. And another one. They're coming pretty quickly now. All right, so taking a look at what we have so far, and we're still going at it. We're still hoping to get more. We got these 3 that are legal. We've had to throw some back that aren't legal. I mentioned earlier about the tides and how that matters as far as when the crabs come, but the other thing that we've noticed is they seem to come like all at one time and not necessarily when you expect it. They come in and out with the tides, but you have to be patient. Sometimes it's not exactly when you would think they would come in, because now they're starting to come in pretty regularly. And the tide has just started going out at this point. All right, I just pulled one in. Don't even have to measure him. He is absolutely a keeper. This is another culprit for stealing your bait right here, these little fish. To cook the crabs, we use our Instant Pot. We put a cup of water in and we set it for 5 minutes, and then we do quick release. If you don't have an Instant Pot, there are other methods to cook the crab. You can just Google it online, and there are plenty of other options. And picking these crabs is not hard to get the meat out. It's just time consuming, or some people probably would think it's tedious. I don't mind it. It's sort of meditative for me, but plus I love crab meat. All you need is a knife, like a butter knife, a strong one, and the crab, of course, we just put them on a cutting board to catch, like some of the steam will come out. And then we have a bowl for the meat and a bowl for the discarded stuff. And we've been saving all the shells, the big pieces, to make seafood stock, because we plan to make she crab soup, which is one of the local, I don't know if you'll call it favorites, that's made with the blue crab, but you can also make crab dip and other things with these crabs. All right, we're gonna show you how, there's many ways to do this, but this is how we do it. This is a male, by the way. We have yet to catch a female, which is weird. Also, if you get a female with eggs, you can't keep those. It'll have the roe on the outside and you can't keep those. You have to throw those back just like the juveniles. So you pull this out, and then you pull these little guys off. And then we take the legs off. Now I've seen some people say to leave these flippers on. I don't. I pull all the legs off. Sometimes the meat comes out with the legs, sometimes it does not, like that. There is meat in the legs though, we will get to the legs. So there's a little bit of meat right here, and that yellow is fat, which is tasty also. So we keep that, and then I'll put the legs aside for now. So you see where there's like a dip right here, you just put your thumb in there and you pull that apart, and it's pretty easy because I do not have strong hands, so that's really simple. So this is all stuff that you discard, or unless you're keeping the shell for the stock. We actually have a big bag of shells right now, so we're not going to keep any more at this time. So these are the lungs that I'm pulling off, or gills, or whatever you want to call it. Everybody again calls these something different. You do not want to eat those, you want to get rid of those. People eat some of the stuff in the middle, we do not. It just depends, you know, some people do. And if you eat a soft shell crab, you can rinse some of this out, but you're not gonna get all of that out. So I'm just gonna put the discards over here to the side. So up here on the bowl, you just basically, you can take the face part off, but you basically scoop all this stuff out, and it's really hot. That's why I'm having an issue with it right now. It's piping hot. But you just pull all that middle stuff out. And then most people do not do this, but because it's so hard to get the innards out, I actually rinse this right here just to get it out of the way. All right, so all I did was rinse this out. Now you can actually see some of the meat in there. So the first thing you do is just literally break it in half. Set one half aside, and then missed a couple of lungs. Gonna pull our gills, pull that off. Then you actually crack it in a quarter, which is a little harder to do. Well, not a perfect quarter, but you get the idea. So this is all the meat right here. And so you just pull the meat out. Sometimes it comes out in like a nice big chunk. And then sometimes it comes out in little bits and pieces. That's the picking. This is called picking the crab, and that's why. So that's all meat right there. So that's keeper. This is meat right here. And so you basically just rinse and repeat with the other half. You break that other half in half and then break it into quarters, and that's exactly what you do. Brian's gonna demo the legs because I usually do the body and he usually does the legs. So he's the one that's the leg expert. You may not be able to hear him because of the mic I'm wearing, but he said there's not much meat in these little ones, but we still get out what we can.
Oh, that came out clean.
Nice.
So that's all meat right there.
So you just rinse and repeat on these little legs, and then he'll show you how to do the big legs. Now onto the claw. This is easier than you would think, usually.
Ooh.
I'll probably jinx it since I said that, but usually it comes right out.
That's all the meat right there from the claw.
There you go. And then there's also meat in that other joint, and it's the same idea. You just crack it with the knife and pull it open and get the meat out. This is what 4 crabs look like when you finish picking all the meat. So it's a good amount of meat. It's a little bit labor intensive to get the meat out, but you get a lot to me. And you know, what we're fishing with is cheap, so I think it's a good bang for the buck. But of course we do it mostly because it's fun. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.